Are you finally ready to upload your Form 1023 application to Pay.gov? Well, let's make sure you do it right. Stay tuned. So the first thing you want to do is go over the checklist that you should have retrieved below in the link when you first started viewing my videos. And this checklist is everything you need to start a nonprofit and become a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. Now let's just scroll down here. I just wanted to make sure I showed you this. Now this is this page here I will skip because this is establishing your nonprofit organization's name, developing a mission statement. All of these things are the basic things you should do. And so we'll go ahead and go past that. And again, retrieve that checklist below and just go over this. Make sure you have everything in place. Now, this is where you want to start to think about how you upload things to pay.gov. Now, with it was in paper form where you would actually mail the documentation in to the IRS. The IRS required that the documentation be sent in a particular order. Now, Pay.gov does not indicate that, but imagine if you were an IRS agent and you were working on this documentation, you would want to see certain things right away that would show you that, hey, this person or this organization has gotten the basics done. So then I, as the IRS agent, can go ahead and proceed and go over all of the other information and make sure everything looks right. So, for instance, make sure you put these things in this order whenever you scan your documents into the one PDF file that the IRS requires before you upload. Make sure they are in this order. So again, grab that checklist because you will see I have here include copy of EIN letter. Now you want to make sure you do that, and I will say it again as I've said in almost all of the videos. Be sure that when you include the supplemental documentation, you have the name of the organization at the top of every page. Keep in mind that the name of the organization should be typed exactly as it is in your articles of incorporation, and be sure to include the EIN at the top of every page as well. So there you go. Make sure you include copy of EIN letter. That would be first. Then you want to go and put your articles of incorporation to include the provisions. You want that to be second. And continue just to go on down this and make sure everything is in order by this checklist. Any amendments to articles of incorporation, be sure to place those in chronological order when uploading those. And what I mean by that is you are going to say you made two amendments. Well, then you're going to make sure that the most recent amendment goes first, then the later one after that. And I hope that makes sense. And then just go on, put your bylaws, your conflict of interest policy, so on and so forth. So you get the gist of that. Just go and make sure everything is in this order. Again, like I said earlier, if you are an IRS agent, you don't even want to look at the rest of this stuff unless you can clearly see that the organization has established its EIN letter and then has established the nonprofit at the state. So that would be the articles of incorporation, again, to include the provisions. And then, of course, if there are any amendments, you would need that. IRS is going to then go and look and see, okay, well, this is very important. You have to have your bylaws. I need to see those. So that's what they're going to be looking for. Then your conflict of interest policy. They're going to be looking for all of these things just right off the top to make sure that they have that before they even go on and consider all of this other stuff. And so be sure to go and look at this list. And I want to point out one thing. If you have a website, be sure to take a copy or a screenshot of every single page in that website and include it with your documentation. The IRS is going to want to see that. I want to show you something here. So right here, I put brochure with schedule of fees for services offered. Now, again, some of these things I've mentioned are not applicable to you. Some are. For instance, intake application. If you're running a food pantry or something of the sort, you would want to include a copy of the intake application. Like, what are your guidelines for helping those people that will be coming to your food pantry. But see, if applicable. But let me go back here. Brochure with scheduled fees for services offered. If you do not indeed have a website already and you cannot include the screenshots of every single page in your website, then I want you to be sure to create a brochure because the IRS is going to want to see something, and that's going to outline what you do. And if you're providing some type of service, you want to indeed tell them about those services. There may or may not be a schedule of fees. You may not be charging them. Of course, it would be nonprofit charges. It wouldn't be like the regular for-profit charges. But if you're going to be charging someone, you need to include that schedule of fees, right? Or if all the services are free, then you want to be sure, again, to create a brochure and outline in that brochure exactly what services you're going to be offering, your demographic. So that's very important. And again, sample pages from website. I have those here together if applicable. If you don't have a website, well, I've just told you what you need to do, a brochure, because they will want to see that. And yes, in the Form 1023 application, of course, it does ask if you have a website. And if you do, to put that website's domain address or website address within that application, I can assure you that the IRS is going to go to that website and look at it. All right. And again, that's why I say if you don't have a website, put create a brochure. You can use Canva to create that brochure. It'd be really quick and easy to do that. You can use a Microsoft Word to do that. So all right, so sorry about that. Actually, my battery ran out in my, on my laptop and it cut me off. So I was basically done with what I was saying there. You get the gist. Make sure everything is in order by how I have it listed in the checklist. And if it's not applicable to you, that's okay. I just pointed out the things that I thought was very important. Now, here I am at Pay.gov, and we are at part 10, where the signature page. This is very self-explanatory, but let's go ahead and just click here. Be sure to do that. I declare under the penalties of perjury that I am authorized to sign this application on behalf of the above organization, and that I have examined this application, and to the best of my knowledge, it is true, correct, and complete. Now, you want to be sure here to put your name exactly as it is in the application. And if you have forgotten, you don't recall whether you put your middle name or what have you, then you can always go down here and click View PDF. And I have done that. And you just go here, and it's the entire application, right? And so you can just go find your name and see how you have it listed. So there I am, Beatrice Adams. Oops, excuse me. And there's my title, President Exec Director. Now, you saw that when I typed in my name, it automatically pre-filled my title. So that's good. So you don't have to worry about any issues there. President Executive Director. And it automatically pre-fills the date because this is going to be the date that you submit your application. So all right, so here we are at upload checklist. You're going to click organizing document and we see that, and any amendments, absolutely include those if you have them. Bylaws, if adopted, you will have wanted to adopt your bylaws. And if you've been watching all of the videos, you will know exactly what you need to do there. Form 2848, Power of Attorney and Declaration of Representative, you will not click that. Form 8821, Tax Information Authorization, you will not click that. And let me go back here, Power of Attorney, don't click that thinking, I'm going to fill that form out because I may want someone else to speak on my behalf. The only one that should be speaking on your behalf should be anyone that you have listed on your board that's listed within the document. They are the ones that will be able to call the IRS and follow up on the application. That would be your secretary, your treasurer, or your executive director. Again, the people that are listed within the form. So here you do want to click supplemental responses. It is applicable. So that's just not even an option. You will not select expedited handling requests. If applicable, that's going to take you down a journey that you may not want to go down. But if you just feel like you want to expedite it, make sure you understand exactly what that all entails. And as you can see, again, this is the interactive form. So when you click on that and you want to understand more about expedited handling requests, it tells you we generally review applications for exemption in the order we receive them. We only expedite processing of an application where a written request presents a compelling reason for processing the application ahead of others. This does not mean your application will be immediately approved or denied. Circumstances generally warranting expedited processing include the following. Let me get that out of the way so you can see that fully. So, if a grant to the applicant is pending and the failure to secure the grant may have an adverse impact on the organization's ability to continue operations, then that is what the IRS would consider to be a reasonable request to have the application expedited. As I mentioned in another video, if you have someone that's wanting to give you a $100,000 grant, that's pretty important, and they're telling you that, well, I can only give you this grant. I can't give it to you until you have been approved as a tax exempt organization. Then you definitely want to consider having the IRS expedite that your application. Now, it also says the promise of the newly created organization is to provide disaster relief to victims of emergencies such as floods and hurricanes. Now, if you are creating a nonprofit to purposely provide disaster relief to victims of hurricanes, or like in North Carolina, there's Hurricane Helene. That was such a huge disaster. You needed to get this approved immediately. That would be the reason. So make sure you have a compelling reason. If you do not have a compelling reason, please do not select that. Leave that. Just leave it empty. So here you will want to go ahead and click continue. Now, this is where you will go to upload your document. Now, keep in mind that, again, it has to be one document. All of these different documents that you have created has got to be scanned as one PDF. The IRS is not going to accept individual PDFs. Now, this is what it tells you. This form is configured to allow one file attachment. That's where I got that from. One file attachment. Please browse and attach a file. The file must have a file extension of PDF and cannot exceed a size of 15 megabytes. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because let me tell you, you reach those 15 megabytes really quickly if you don't select the correct resolution on your scanner. And so whenever you go to scan, you want to double check that resolution, make sure it's right. And let's see if this is going to do this for me so I can show you. So hold on one moment. Let me get to that scanner and I will. For some reason, the screen is not letting me show you the Epson scan screen, but I use an Epson Wi-Fi 3620. It's an older printer, but the one thing I just want to point out really quickly, since it's not going to allow me to show you on my screen, is make sure that the resolution on your scanner, when you go to scan your documents into that one PDF file, make sure that the resolution is set at 200. Don't set it at 300, it's going to be too large. So that if you're having issues with their PDF not uploading to Pay.gov, if the system is continuously rejecting your PDF file, again, saying it's too large, that is why. You need to go back to your scanner, into the information, and select resolution. Make sure that resolution is 200. Now, if for me, it's the same screen where I put the document source. If I want to say it's scanning on the glass, if it's single-sided, double-sided, letter, black and white or color, it's the same screen for me. I'm not sure what it would be for you, but underneath all of that is the resolution. Is where you'll find that. And again, be sure to click the drop down and select 200. Do not select 300. That will be too large. Now 300 looks pretty. The IRS, I mean, it's really clear. Again, it's just going to make the file too large. It will not upload to pay.gov. Setting it at 200 is fine. It won't be, again, it'll have some little dots or what have you, but that's fine. The IRS just needs to be able to read it, and it's not so ugly that they can't see at all what you're uploading. So even if you wanted to go to resolution 150, you can do that. I would not go any lower than that. It's just really depending on how large your file is. My files are pretty large for my clients, so I do choose resolution 200, and then you go from that. Just hit scan and then save that into your PDF and get that uploaded to pay.gov, and you are good to go. So that concludes that lesson. And listen, that's it. So if you have any questions, please leave comments down below. I will see those and I will respond to your comments. So definitely, if you have questions, do that for me in the comments. I would appreciate it.